J&M Machine. My name is John. We've got Seth's block, Model A block, set up on the milling machine, and I'm going to make the first pass to see how good or how bad the deck surface is, and we're going to get it straight and just follow along and see how many thousandths that we can move off of this block.
Okay.
Removed 3/1000ths, and you can see that the block is pretty much square, with the exception of the little bit of wear in the combustion chamber. You can see the outline of the head gasket. So probably this will clean up at either 5 or 7 thousandths. You can see basically the mirror image of where the cylinder head was low. It left the shadow of the gasket area where it was impacting on the block. You can see basically these jagged outlines is where the cutter went across the low spot. And also the very back of the block isn't square. So basically when they machined it from the factory, plus 80 odd years of hot and cold cycles, basically the block is a bit distorted now. So at 7 thousandths, the block cleaned up, and we're ready to do the final pass.
So you were going to change out that bit again?
Yes, yep. And cut the rust out of it. Okay, we've removed the final of 9 thousandths off of Seth's block, and you can see basically from what it was to what it is. It's like my proverbial thumb test. You can see my reflection of my finger in the cast iron finish. And this is good to go now for the surface. The next step will be boring the cylinders. And please bear with me as I change the cutter head to the boring head, and we'll be good to go. We are now converted the machine over to the boring bar, which I have set up in front of me here. I've indicated the cylinder hole off the unworn surface of the cylinder, and we're gonna now proceed to bore the block to the next oversize, which I believe will either be 20 over or 30 over, depending on where we clean up on number 2 and number 3 cylinder, because that's typically the most worn of all the blocks, due to the fact that when the center main goes, then the cylinder concentricity goes as well. So basically, the way that this machine operates is I have the setting fixture set up on it, and we anticipate that this block may clean up at 20 thousandths oversize, and I've basically adjusted the micrometer as well as my dial indicator, so when I set my tool bit depth, it should read to perfect 0 with the amount that I've calculated for the 20 over. I've got the machine set up now. It's like we tried the first shot was at 20 over, but unfortunately, since the head gasket had leaked water into the cylinder wall was pitted, so hopefully going another 10 thousandths at 30 over, we'll get the rust stain out of the cylinder wall, and we can carry on from there. Let me put my OSHA safety guard up. We've just did the final pass, and it did clean up a 30 over, and after I bore the cylinder, we have to chamfer the very top edge so we can aid the entry of the piston rings once come time for assembly, so there's no sharp edge at the very top of the cylinder wall here.
And you just want to make a little,
just a little angle. As the fact you can see in number 3 and number 4 that the factory went a little bit overboard on their chamfer mark, but it serves the same purpose. We've just finished boring the cylinders out. I cleaned up a 30 over. I've machined all the chamfers, as you can see the shiny angle here. And now the next step, after we clean it off, get the chips off of it, we're going to machine the valve angles.